This is the second day of my top 5 passive income ideas mini-series. This series will span the entire week, giving you a daily video focused in detail on each item of my list. Today's video is all about making passive income in fix and flip and fix and hold real estate. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, and a volunteer paramedic. By the end of this mini-series, you will have 5 great ideas on how you can make extra money every single day of the month. If you're watching this in real time as I upload, make sure you are subscribed and click the notification bell so you get notified each day when videos are released. If you are watching this after I've released the entire mini-series, check out the playlist I have created for you. The link is in the description. As you guys know, I love real estate for wealth building. Over the years, I have personally acquired, fixed, and flipped over 150 single-family homes, mostly in the Tampa Bay area, Florida. And before running my own deals, I worked for a group of investors that averaged about 200 to 300 homes per year. Now, there are pluses and minuses to the fix and flip versus the fix and hold strategies of real estate investing. And in some cases, it really depends on the deal. Now, personally, I have recently transitioned to more of a fix and hold strategy. This is especially true in today's historically low mortgage rates. In today's video, I will explain the difference between these two strategies so you can choose what is best for you and your financial goals. As you will remember from video 1 of this mini-series, I mentioned how I got started in real estate by working for a group of investors in Tampa Bay area, Florida. Now, I'm not going to repeat the same story here, so go check out video number 1 if you haven't seen it to get the introduction. The investor group I worked for primarily focused on single-family homes that were in foreclosure that retailed for about $200,000. And that would be about $280,000 today, adjusted for inflation. Most of these homes were in disrepair and needed to be fixed before they could be sold. This strategy of acquiring a property, fixing it up, and selling it is what's referred to as fix and flip real estate investing. Now, there are many advantages, but also some severe drawbacks to this strategy. On the positive side, you purchase a complete dumpy-looking house, spend $20,000 to $30,000 on new paint, carpet, appliances, new tile, etc., and you can easily double your money in about 60 to 90 days. Now, on the downside, this is kind of a rinse and repeat type strategy that requires you to continuously find new deals, fix them up, sell them, and move on to more. Once you get paid, you just move on. You can make great money doing this, but the thing is, this is not exactly passive income. Okay, now I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. We'll cover that in a few minutes. So how exactly did these investors make their money in fix and flip deals? Now keep in mind, I am not a lawyer, so I cannot give you any legal advice. I'm just some dude on the internet telling you how things were back in Tampa, back in the early 2000s. In the beginning, I worked for some very shady people, and I wouldn't be surprised if half or more of the things they did were less than legal. Remember, these were lawyers, so they kind of know how to skirt around the law. Once I learned all the ins and outs of foreclosures from this group, I was able to branch out and do my own deals without all the added stress of doing things their shady way. There were multiple lead sources coming into this investment group, including the yellow letter campaigns. This is where a handwritten letter would be mass mailed out to mailing lists of homeowners in a specific targeted neighborhood. Stay-at-home moms were paid, about $2 to $3 per handwritten letter, and they could crank these things out assembly line style. The personalized touch, or at least the appearance of a personalized touch, of these handwritten letters was very effective at getting phone calls. But now this wasn't the side of lead acquisition that I worked on. I knew it was going on, and it worked very well. It just really wasn't part of my job description. I worked on the side of the business that researched deals and tracked down absentee owners. We would start with that month's latest foreclosure printouts. Remember, this is long before online websites had this data available. We would get a spiral-bound book with 75 to 100 pages each month, showing all of the latest pre-foreclosure listings. We called this the hot sheets. My job was to take each property address, run the comps, and estimate the profit margin on the property. Of course, these were just rough numbers, as we had no idea the status of the house repair costs yet. This was just a quick filter so we didn't waste any of our time on houses that had absolutely no margin to begin with. For example, I might research a property that had a single mortgage on it that was going to foreclosure for, say, $75,000. If this property retails for $150,000 fixed up, then I know there's about a $75,000 margin to cover the cost of purchasing, paying for the owner to leave, fixing the place up, closing costs, holding costs, etc. As soon as we received these hot sheets, I was under immense pressure to get the numbers calculated quickly and rush the hot sheets along with all of my notes to Staples to photocopy and make additional books for each team member. Many times I was working to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning that night just to get these ready for when Staples opened in the morning. We knew there were about a dozen investors in the area that also received their same hot sheets on the same day that we had, and they would be approaching all of these homeowners immediately. During this time, I wrote some software to help calculate some of these numbers faster than any of our competitors could do this calculation manually. This gave us a distinctive edge over everyone else in the area. This technology that I invented ended up turning into one of my tech startup companies that's still into business today. But that's another story for another video. The door knocker would approach the homeowner and attempt to negotiate a deal with them. In the beginning, most people would answer the door and say, "I've got my lawyer handling it, go away." He would leave, but before he left, he would write down all the tag numbers of any vehicles in the driveway and any other clues that may be useful in the future. This information would be used to run skip traces on people if and when the homeowner abandons the house. Many times we would find someone over at a friend's house, family member, baby mama, etc., all because we researched the tags found of every vehicle in the driveway every time that we visited. He would continue to approach this individual each time as the foreclosure auction became closer and closer. He knew that the homeowner was under immense pressure from the bank. Sometimes these deals could be struck early on in the process. In those cases, it was much better for us. We would give the homeowner a few $1,000s to move out. This amount depended on the deal margin, of course. Sometimes they would get $2,000, $5,000, and sometimes they could get up to $20,000 or more. A notary would be called to the property. Remember, this was something I covered back in video 1 of this miniseries. And the homeowner would get paid to move out. Usually within about a week, the home would be empty and the repairs could begin. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details here of how to rehab a house, as honestly that should be its own miniseries. But in summary, we had a full-time construction crew that could walk into any property and usually get it market ready in about 2 weeks. If we played our cards right, found a deal that still had plenty of time before the foreclosure auction, the only out-of-pocket money we needed was to pay the homeowner to leave and the cost to fix up the place. We would only pay the mortgages after we sold the property to the final home buyer at the closing table. Now, technically, this was actually the home buyer's mortgage money that was paying off the old mortgage at closing. So in many of these deals, we never had to front this money. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, this strategy does have its pluses and minuses. Very strong minus is how you only get paid once on this deal, and you must continuously go out and find new deals to work. With a passive income strategy, the deal is very similar in the beginning. You find a great property that is selling far below its market value, and you fix it up. The difference is instead of selling the property, you keep it. The massive benefits, at least in my opinion, to this keep and hold strategy is you make continuous money every single month passively. When you rent out your properties, your tenants pay your mortgage and property tax payment for you, and they give you a little profit each month. Yes, it takes longer to get your profit out of these deals, but in the long run, you actually make far more money. Now, think of it this way. Let's say you have a house that has a potential profit margin of $30,000. You could flip the property and get your $30,000 today. Or you could make about $300 profit per month renting it out. With this strategy, it's going to take you 8.5 years to make your $30,000. So far, the first option is flipping the property, right? Well, not really. If you keep renting the property each additional year, you continue to make an additional $3,600 profit just for keeping the property. Now, if that was the only benefit, I think you could kind of argue either way, as waiting 8 years to make your profit kind of sucks. And you could probably leverage that $30,000 immediately to finance more deals. True. But here's where keeping the property really pays off. In many cases, you can write off the mortgage interest on your taxes. Plus, the tax code is usually more favorable to you on long-term investments versus short-term flips. So this usually means you keep more of your profit instead of it going to Uncle Sam. Now, of course, once again, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer. You should definitely check with your CPA. In addition to these possible tax benefits, you also profit from the increased market value of the house. The average home in the United States increases in value by about 3 to 5% per year. Of course, there are the up and down years, but across a 10-year or more time, this is a pretty reliable statistic. So with this in mind, not only are you profiting $3,600 per year from your rent payments, the house value is going up another $4,500 each year as well. So now if we look at your $30,000 in 8 years, you're actually making your profit in about half of that time if you factor in the increase in equity. This is why I prefer the fix and hold method. It allows me to put in less time working on these deals and continue to make a passive income each month. Of course, I did completely gloss over the cost of maintenance for the property, which is most definitely something you need to factor into your calculation. My intentions here were only to give you guys an overview of the two different strategies for profiting from residential single-family home investments. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Doing so really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow on the next one.